My dad beat the shit out of me when I was growing up. I was the first black baby born in this hospital called Miller Fillmore in Buffalo, New York. My dad owned skating rinks, he owned bars, he ran prostitutes from Canada to Buffalo, New York. My dad was a big time pimp, big time, anything bad about a person, big time hustler. He was American, you know that movie with Denzel Washington? Mm-hmm. He was that, but not that bad.
Right.
You know, he wasn't that big. But that's what it reminds me of. He was that kind of guy. Beat the shit out of me, beat the shit out, out of my mom. There was an incident one time when my mom got knocked out on top of the stairs and he dragged her down the stairs by her hair. And at 6 years old, I'll never forget this. In my mind, I was always afraid. I know my story doesn't make any sense, but just look at the dates of these races. There, so 100 miler Hawaii, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, another one, that's 50 miler. A 50 miler a month later, then you're looking at 14 days later, another 50K. 50 miler a month later, then you look at less than a month, another 50 miler. 53 miler in June. July was another 100 miler. Literally, right. Badwater was a month after I did that 100 miler, 135 miler. Leadville was less than a month after Badwater. The Plain 100 was 3 weeks after Leadville. Angel's Crest was a week after that 100 miler. The Bear 100 was, 13 days after that 100 miler?
Jesus Christ.
And then I ran 205 miles around there. But what's not in there was that McNaughton race I also did in 2007 that wasn't listed. So that was just my 2007 year.
That's insane.
And I Googled the 10 hardest races in the world. I knew nothing about ultra running. The first I'd ever run was 20 miles at one time. What came up was the Badwater 135. 135 mile run through Death Valley in the summertime. I thought it was a fucking stage race. So I went to ultra runner, didn't know what ultra runner was. I called the race director up, Chris Kosman of the Badwater, and he said, "Are you an ultra runner?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." He goes, "Have you run 100 miles in 24 hours or less?" I was like, "No." But I said, "I'm a Navy SEAL. I was in 3 Hell Weeks. I was a Ranger." I gave him some resume. He didn't give a shit. He said, "I don't care. You got qualified for my race." And the deadline was up in 2 months for this Badwater race. So it became from being defeated to like, man, all right, motherfucker, maybe tomorrow we can go 0.75. It just became this different mindset. I turned negatives into positives. So I would take it like, who would even think about doing this? So I would sit on my couch saying, who at 297, who can't fucking swim that great, who's scared of the fucking water, would have the fucking balls? Who had the balls to fucking man up, quit a job, and go and just put everything on himself. And through time, it became reality. I couldn't run down the street. My body was just jacked up. Couldn't sleep. My whole body was just down, shutting down. But just to give you an example, I was fucking dying. And so I couldn't do anything. And doctors were like, "I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Your labs are this. Is it PTSD? Is it what's going on?" I knew what any of that shit. So I sat in the bed one day and I realized, man, my life is over. This is it. But it gave me time to reflect on everything I had accomplished. Because I'd never taken time to reflect on the kid I was to the man I am now. So honestly, the time I wasn't working out, it was the best time of my life because I got a chance to really reflect back and be proud of who I became. 10 days or 2 weeks after this 100 mile in one race I did, this marathon, December 5th in Las Vegas. I said, you know what, it's the first one, I can't run, maybe I can walk with my mom. So I tried to go out to this little knoll around our grassy area in San Diego. I tried to run, legs were broken. I said, fuck, I can't even, I'm jacked, can't do shit. So I said, you know what, maybe I'll watch you guys do the marathon and I'll cheer you guys on, whatever. And I said, I'll try to walk with my mom. December 5th happened, that gun went off, 2005, 14 days after, I broke myself off and I qualified for the Boston Marathon. I ran 3:08. At mile 70, man, it was torturous. And with blood down my leg and 30 miles to go, I started reaching the cookie jars, man. I started pulling off all kind of stuff. I reached in my mind, and a lot of us, when we have bad times in life, even the hardest person in the world, we forget how badass we are during that hard time. I have a thing where I take a couple seconds to reflect on, hang on, man, you've been through this, you've been through that, you overcame this, overcame that. I don't ever close my mind to the fact that this can be done. You wanna break my motherfucking legs? So be it. I will reverse that pain and suffering, and I will take your soul. You know, some of us want to be doctors, lawyers, dentists. Some of us want to be in special operations. So you have this big dream, you can see it so clearly, like it's right in front of you. You can go out and touch it. But the thing about it is, somewhere, if you dream big enough, somewhere down that journey, that dream becomes a motherfucking nightmare. And what happens in that nightmare, you start to have all these questions like, if you want to be in special ops, you may not be a great swimmer. You may just realize that I'm not a great swimmer, I'm not a great runner. You may start to fail tests, and all these questions start to flood your mind. Why am I here? I'm not good enough. Trust me, I know all about the fucking questions. They will flood your mind. If you do not have the answers for them, you will quit. The answers lie in the repetitions. You must not forget the repetitions you put into trying to dominate the craft that you're in today. always, always embrace the suck, adapt to the suck, stay hard. I get a bunch of questions every day about how did I lose 100 pounds so fast. It's a simple answer. Stop procrastinating, stop wishing, and you gotta outwork your calories. If your calories are outworking you, you're always gonna be the person you don't wanna be. Get after it. I had to invent a guy that can take any pain, any suffering, any kind of judgment, be called nigger, be called whatever the fuck in the world, and be able to stand in the fucking room and say, go fuck yourself.
When I was in the military, we go on these instructor-led runs. Most of the time we knew the start and end point. So on the way back, I started seeing people getting happy and shit because the end was near. But there were some asshole instructors that would hear the happiness and go right on past the end point. When that happened, everybody stopped talking, heads would stop dropping, and I started taking fucking souls. At that time, I knew what happened in their minds. They were living off the hope factor. They hoped the instructors would stop running. They hoped the water was never cold. They hoped the weather was fucking good. I don't live off that hope shit. I wish the water was cold. I wish them motherfucking instructors keep on fucking running. I wish the fucking rain. When the ending is unknown and the distance is unknown, that's when you know who the fuck you are. Stay hard. We go on these instructor-led runs. Most of the time we knew the start and end point. So on the way back, I started seeing people getting happy and shit because the end was near. But there were some asshole instructors that would hear the happiness and go right on past the end point. When that happened, everybody stopped talking, heads would stop dropping, and I started taking fucking souls. At that time, I knew what happened in their minds. They were living off the hope factor. They hoped the instructors would stop running. They hoped the water was never cold. They hoped the weather was fucking good. I don't live off that hope shit. I wish the water was cold. I wish them motherfucking instructors keep on fucking running. I wish the fucking rain. When the ending is unknown and the distance is unknown, that's when you know who the fuck you are. Stay hard.
We have an epidemic in this world. The epidemic I'm talking about is a lot of people bitch about fucking everything. They bitch about not having time. They bitch about their boss. They bitch about their husband. They bitch about their lives. They bitch about everything. Some people even follow me on Instagram and bitch about me fucking cussing. So why the fuck are you following me on Instagram if you know I'm gonna fucking cuss? We bitch about everything in life, but we do nothing about it. Very few people do anything about it. I'm fat, I'm out of shape, all these fucking things. What the fuck are you doing about it? You gotta take action in your life. You gotta stop bitching. You gotta start find a solution to your fucking problem. Don't be the problem. Take action. For every action, there's an opposite reaction. If all you do is bitch, nothing's gonna happen in your life. Take action, take control, stay hard. Go to the doctor, get an echocardiogram. So I'm in there getting an echocardiogram, just chilling out in there, and the guy's talking to me, has this little wand on my heart. When people get quiet, that's fucking not good, man. Yeah. So he's in there, just has this wand on my heart, chilling out. Yeah, man, what are you doing? Yeah, you know, what's going on? And he says, I'll be right back. He goes and gets a doctor. Doctor comes in, puts the thing on my heart. The doctor gets another doctor. Now I'm just freaking the fuck out. I'm like, okay, because when it comes to your heart, you know, it's a big deal. So they come back in, they say, hey, we can stop the echocardiogram. When they talk to you in the hallway, you have a hole in your heart. And the guy didn't know that I was SEAL, because not many black guys are SEALs. And we had a conversation about, you know, we got to fix this real quick. I said, yeah, I mean, then I came up that I was the SEAL. He said, man, you could have died jumping, you could have died diving, you could have died in all this stuff. Because basically, the hole in your heart, if it gets plugged with something, like anything, like, you know, let's say you get a bubble from diving or something like that, you're going to die. A lot of times I'll be in a 200-mile run or something like that, and I'm all jacked up. Body's broken, mind's broken, spirit's broken. I started to say, what if I can pull this off? When I first walked into the Navy SEAL recruiter's office, He looked at me and said, there's only been 35 African Americans in 70 years make it through. You know what I said to myself? What if I can be the 36th? It's the what if I can pull off a fucking miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be? And just me talking about that, I have the hair going up on my arms because it makes me just like, what if? How are you gonna react? Like all that training goes out the fucking door when you're in the fucking cold water and you're fucking miserable and it's the first hour of 130 hours of Hell Week and that first wave goes over your head and you're the coldest you've been in your life and your mind goes from hour 1 to hour 130. But if you live this shit on a daily basis and you know how to calm your mind down, we have pain, we have suffering, we react. It's those people who are able to control that fucking feeling of fucking flight and say, nah, motherfucker, there's a way through this. It's not gonna be here forever. I'm not cold right now. I went through 3 of them. I'm not cold now. I'm in a nice warm studio with you. You gotta think about that shit. The shit's gonna end. It's gonna end, but we don't know that. We don't think that. At that time, it's gonna last forever. You take that hot, warm shower, first thing that comes to your fucking mind is, why the fuck did I quit?